Hey guys, this is Critique Hip Hop. My name is Hunter Taylor, and today we are doing top 10 albums 2013. I've been waiting to do this for a really long time, so I've listened to a total of 40 to 50 albums this year. Alright, let's start with number 10. Number 10 is Pusha T, My Name Is My Name. I talked about this in my top 10 of quarter 4 video, and people might be like, if that's on there, why is Black Milk not on there? And because I think Black Milk's album, No Poison, No Paradise, I think it's a better album. Like, it's more cohesive. But I think Pusha T, My Name Is My Name is more interesting to listen to. Like, I had a lot more fun listening to that album. So, that's why it's in the top 10. But the album is it's really good. Like, I was really taken back by it because I didn't know if I would like it or not, because Wrath of King was okay. But as soon as King Push came on, I was like, okay, I like this. And then, like, you know, you have like Numbers on the Board, Sweet Serenade, and 40 Acres, and that song with Kendrick Lamar, I forgot what it's called, but I really like Pusha T, My Name Is My Name. I listen to it all the time now, and yeah, I think that's another thing, is I listen to Pusha T, My Name Is My Name more than Black Milk's album, so I was like, I think it has to be top 10. Plus, his rapping abilities are incredible. Pusha T is really like one of the most talented rappers in the rap game right now, and I think he's probably like, no offense to Kanye West, but I think he's I said this in my last video, the top good music artist right now, in my opinion. And I think My Name Is My Name is the best album from good music in 2013. I know most people will disagree with me when he uses, but I think My Name Is My Name is better. Coming in at number 9 is R.A. the Rugged Man, Legends Never Die. I didn't know what to expect from this album because I never listened to any of R.A.'s previous work. But I had an open mind about it. I came into it and I got this old school, one of the best rappers, like very underrated rapper in the rap game right now. And I think he is just like making fun of like hipster rap or like, you know, like indie rap and all this stuff. But he's also like giving you a sense that he's like very talented. And the song that's about his dad is actually one of the most personal rap songs I've ever heard, and I can really connect with that song because, you know, personal problems, but I really enjoy Legends Never Die. I think it was a really good album, except for some choruses that were a little cheesy, but they're meant to be a little cheesy because they're just like poking fun or doing jokes and stuff like that. But besides that, the verses, R.A. killed every single verse. I was like, even though I do not like Hopsin, I'm not a big fan of Hopsin. If you are, I'm sorry, I'm not a big fan. But even he did okay. Like, he actually sounded good on like the production on this album. So I think, honestly, the production's good, the rapping is good. Go check out R.A. the Rugged Man. And number 8 is Earl with Doris. I didn't know what to expect from Doris because I was a big fan of Earl's first album, Earl, and I was just like, I really like the style of it, because even though it was like horrorcore or just whatever, it was still, the beat production by Tyler Creator was really good, and Earl could rap really well. Like, seriously, when people say he is the best of Odd Future when it comes to rap, I completely agree. So when I was going into Doris, I was like, okay, so you start off with Pre, you're like, I don't like this so far, and then it switches to Burgundy, and I fell in love with Burgundy. And then my favorite song on the album though is Night, which is the last song on the album. I play that song all the time. That and Sunday with Frank Ocean. Frank Ocean, he's a decent rapper, he's pretty good. I fell in love with Doris. Doris is really good. Like, there's a couple songs that the beats are not there for me production-wise, but lyrically from Earl, it really stands out. So, Doris is number 8. Number 7, Brother Ali, Left in the Deck. I just checked this one out recently, actually, and I did not regret it because I haven't gotten into Brother Ali yet, and I didn't know what to expect from him. And people were saying, oh, well, if you want to get into Brother Ali, check out Left in the Deck. So it's like, okay. So So I checked it out and I really liked it. There's not one song I disliked on this. Like, it's like probably, it's like, I don't know if it's a mixtape or some people are saying it's a cassette thing or whatever, but I think this album is very underrated because like not really a lot of people are checking it out. So check out Left on Deck, it's pretty cool. Number 6, Quale Chris, Goes at the Finish Line. Once again, I talked about this in my last video, I don't have to go deep into it, but Goes at the Finish Line I think is also a very underrated album. I know most people can be like, oh, you're just picking like rap artists that aren't like in the mainstream, like, you know, whatever. And that's not necessarily true, because I have Pusha T on my list, I have Earl, I consider Earl a more mainstream thing, and you'll see the rest later, but I think that, personally, there's so much more to rap and hip-hop than just the mainstream, like that's just the surface. You have to dig deeper, and you can find so many other artists, but people are too caught up with like, oh, Kanye West and stuff like that, and Magna Carta Holy Grail, that they just forget about, oh, there's all these great mixtapes and underground rap artists that are just as good, or if not better. So 6 is Quale Chris. If you want to see my opinion on that, check out my other video of my top 10 in the past 3 months, but really good album. Number 5 is Run the Jewels, self-titled album. I like LP, he's a very talented producer, very talented rapper. I love Killer Mike. I think Killer Mike is a phenomenal rapper and lyricist, and honestly, talking about random like shit, Killer Mike talking about like a girl giving him a blowjob and then squeezing his belly like bagpipes, I laughed so hard. Like, this album was very just lyrically just amazing. It was great. LP, you have to like dig into what he's trying to say, but like Killer Mike is just like going at you like every second, and it just forms so well. There's such a good collaboration, but yeah, go check out Run the Jewels, it's really good. 4 is Mr. Motherfucking Esquire, Kismet. You listen to The Cauldron, and at first you're like, okay, I don't know if I like this, and then after a while you're like, okay, I actually like this. Noble Drew Ali, my favorite song on the mixtape. Amazing song. It just like hits you hard in the chest, like with the bass and everything. And I don't know, like, I love Mr. Motherfucking Esquire. I think he's an amazing rapper. One of my other favorite songs, Cherry Rainbows, like, or Raindrops. Is it Raindrops or Rainbows? I think it's Raindrops. Cherry Raindrops, yeah. And Vanilla Rainbows, yeah. So, the mixtape is really good. I liked pretty much mostly every single song on this mixtape. There wasn't really a song I was like, I have to skip this. Because there's only like one song that had to grow on me, which was Orbs. It was like some quote that Drake never said, aka whatever. And that song had to grow on me, and once I watched the music video for it, I actually fell in love with the song, and I listen to it all the time now. So, go check out Kismet. It's one of the best mixtapes of the year in my opinion. Number three is Chance the Rapper, Acid Rap. I didn't like this album at first. I listened to it a second time. I still didn't like the album. I listened to it a third time. I still didn't like the album. I listened to it a fourth time. I still didn't like the album. I listened to it a fifth time. It caught me by surprise, and I ended up liking it. I don't know what it was. I guess it hit me on the right day, but I listen to Acid Rap all the time now. Like, it's just second sense. Like, it's just like, okay, what am I gonna put on today? Acid Rap. Like, it's just so, I don't know, it's just so, it's so hard to describe that album, but like, you really feel like Chance the Rapper, his persona, and like, that album just flows so well together that it just has this unique flair to it, even though it's like, not like completely unique, but at the same time, it's not just his voice. It's the production behind the album, and something you're not going to hear often. So, Acid Rap is really good. My favorite song is Acid Rain. I listen to that song all the time. It's kind of sad, but at the same time, it's very true, and that's the Chance the Rapper I like. Is a very true, like, speaking his mind directly, not just trying to talk about like other things. Like, I wasn't a big fan of good ass intro and good ass outro, but I like everything in between. and fucking really good mixtape. Probably my favorite mixtape this year. Number 2, Danny Brown, Old. There's a lot of reasons why I love this album. Number 1 is I was watching an interview with Danny Brown after I listened to the album for the first time, and he was like, yeah, I think my album is one of the best albums this year. The only conversation I had with Yeezus, and he thought it was funny that people didn't notice that for each side of the album, you're going through different genres of hip-hop. So you listen to Side A, Old, to The Return, and then you listen to Clean Up and Torture, and Gremlins, and Wonder Bread, and 25 Bucks. Like, you listen to the whole Side A and Side B. It's all different. That was mostly Side A, but it's all different styles of hip-hop. So you're not just getting one sounding album. You know what I mean? You're getting multiple different sounds. Like, if you listen to the Side B, which is more of a party side, except for Float On, which is one of my favorite songs on the album, but I don't really consider that a party song. But the rest of it is all party songs, but it's different kinds of party songs. So you have dubstep, you have freaking dance kind of beats with like a Darky Freaker with a handstand. You have Dope Song, which is like something you just like go in your car and just like blast. Like, it's such a good album. There's not one song I think there's only one song I dislike, which is Wonder Bread. I don't really care for that song. I would skip it. That's the only song I ever skip. Like, the whole other 18 tracks I listen to fully. Old is a really good complete package. Danny Brown outdid himself. I do prefer Triple X from him, but I love Old almost just as much. And I think it's definitely one of the best hip-hop albums this year. No, like, doubt in my mind. Like, when I was thinking of this list, I was like, Danny Brown's Old has to be on there. So, go check out Old, please. Like, it's really good. And, I don't know, just you do yourself a favor. So, my number 1, if you haven't watched my last video, well, if you did watch it, you would know what my number 1 is. If you didn't, then, I don't know. But, my number 1 is Childish Gambino, because the internet. So, with Childish Gambino, because the internet, once again, it's an experimental album. So is Yeezus, but it's not as experimental as this. This has a lot more range, I guess you can say. I might get hate for that. Fuck it. But because the internet, you just have more range. So you have like Pink Toes, which is like a Pharrell, it reminds me of Pharrell, like. And then you have Shadows, which is like a nice jazzy beat with So Is Earn. You have Crawl and World Star, which are like these hard like trap beats and stuff like that. But World Star blends into this like very beautiful jazz like thing that makes you feel like you're like in the 90s. And same thing with The Worst Guys, which is one of my favorite songs on the album. It blends in with this nice guitar solo thing that makes you feel like you're like in New York or something. Like, the album takes you places. And not a lot of albums do that nowadays. Like, you just listen to them, you're like, yeah, this is alright, this is good. Yeah, and that album really, when you listen to it, it takes you to another place, and when you're like hearing something that you're seeing. You're not just like, oh, I'm just gonna listen to it or whatever. And that's why it's my number 1, is because when I listen to it, I get lost in the music. Like, it's just a complete story and a complete package, so you're not just getting the music. You're not just getting, like, oh, I can just look at the lyrics, blah, blah, blah. No, you're getting a screenplay. You're getting videos. You're getting music and lyrical content. And it's just amazing. And then the live show he's saying is going to go with the album perfectly, and it'll make it have more sense to it if you're not understanding it. And it's just, everything is so just, like, there's no songs I hate on the album. Life's the Biggest Troll is a very sad and ironic song saying that, like, life, like, we think it's all good, but the joke is on us because we're just gonna die anyway, and life's not ever gonna be fair. Zelda Stockholm, one of the best beats I've heard on a song in a really long time. I love Zelda Stockholm. It hits you like you do not expect it. It starts off slow, and then like once it kicks in, you're like, what the fuck? This song just got so much better. It's just oh, it's so good. Like, there's not one song I hate. And every song is just very interesting to listen to. There's not one time where I kind of was like, that his voice is getting drowned out by the music, or the beats are like getting old. Like, it was such an experimental risk with Childish Gambino, and he pulled it off. And I congratulate you, man. This is one of my favorite albums of all time, probably. It's up there, man. Like, I was really impressed with this album. Obviously, I was a big Childish Gambino fan before this album anyway. I have like everything he's ever put out, but he really blew me away with this, because after Loyalty, nobody knew where he was gonna go. Nobody knew where he was gonna go. And then he dropped Because of the Internet, and you were just like, wow. Like, every single release he progresses. That's why he's a good artist, is because he doesn't keep the same sound. He doesn't keep doing what is like what people expect from him. He gives you something unexpected. So even if you don't like Loyalty, oh well, go listen to Cul-de-sac, go listen to Camp, go listen to his EP, go listen to I Am Just a Rapper 1 or 2. Oh, you don't like Because of the Internet? Go listen to Camp. Don't like Camp? Go listen to Loyalty. Like, he has so much range, because he has, like, literally, he can wrap circles around most people, but this album was not mostly Childish Gambino. You're getting mostly Donald Glover, which I thought was very interesting, because for Camp, you had this, like, persona of his, where he's like, yeah, and he's just joking around a lot, and then with this album, you really feel like he's more vulnerable, like, way more vulnerable, because, you know, if you've seen interviews with him, you know how he is right now, but he just feels very vulnerable and different, and very, like, in a darker place, but like, it's like the more darker it is, the better you're getting. Like, the more you're getting out of the album, pretty much. So, this album to me is the best hip-hop album of the year. I've played this album 37 times already, and I've still not gotten sick of it. Every time I put it on, I'm like, I have to listen to the whole thing. Or, like, most of it, or whatever. Go listen to Because of the Internet. Support this album. And people who are saying Yeezus is the #1 album, I completely disagree, but it's just opinions. This is just my opinion. Let me know what your top 10 of the year is. Does it match up with mine? Do you like mine? Do you disagree with mine? Let me know in the comments below. And yeah, I'm gonna be making a video talking about Kanye West. I have a little rant I'm gonna do, so just stay tuned and subscribe to Critique Hip Hop. See you guys.